Welcome to the news on NTA International. I am Minna Daniels. Let's begin with the headlines. President Bola Tinubu cancelled scheduled visits and events in Lagos in honor of Stampede victims in Abuja, Okija, and Anambra State. The federal government free train service along Itakpe-Warri corridor commences amidst rush. Plus, United Nations expresses concern as millions of people face extreme levels of hunger in West and Central Africa. Ten victims have lost their lives, with others injured Saturday morning at the Cathedral Church of the Holy Trinity, Maitama, Abuja, following a stampede. Eyewitness accounts say it was as a result of the church's annual distribution of food items and other materials to the vulnerable and elderly. Onotu Yakubu brings us situation update.
The incident, according to passerby information I got on arrival to this location this afternoon, indicates that the unfortunate situation happened in the wee hours of the morning, as early as 6 a.m., while members of the church, from the information, were distributing relief materials in the spirit of the Yuletide season to some members and less privileged in the community, and the unfortunate incident happened.
We discovered that a lot of people were trampled. It took a lot of effort to be able to move them immediately to the hospital, but unfortunately we lost 10 people, and I think we had 4 children among those who have lost their lives. I liaised with the hospital authority, who are making frantic effort to work on those who are still in the hospital.
The situation seemed calm around here. Operatives of the Maitama Police Division have been deployed to ensure seamless activities around here. Efforts to get authorities of the church proved abortive. Our further probe to the Maitama District Hospital on inquiries about the development met the same fate with brick wall, as authorities of the hospital would not respond to questions regarding the development. In Abuja, Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
Thank you. Note 2. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has cancelled all his official events in Lagos today, including his attendance at the 2024 Lagos Boat Regatta in honor of the Stampede victims in Abuja, Okija, and Anambra State. The tragedies claimed many lives and left many others injured. President Tinubu was scheduled to watch the boat parade and other activities of the boat regatta from the waterfront of his Queen's Drive residence in Ikoyi. In a statement by the Presidential Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, dignitaries including top officials of the Lagos State government and white cap chiefs from the state were already seated when the president cancelled his appearance following briefings on the tragedies. Commiserating with the victims of the unfortunate incident in Anambra and the Federal Capital Territory, President Tinubu urged states and relevant authorities to enforce strict crowd control measures immediately. He noticed that it was very disturbing that events at the Holy Trinity Catholic Church in Maitama, Abuja, and the community center in Okija, Anambra State, bore a distressing resemblance to the recent incident in Ibadan, Oyo State. He said local and state authorities should no longer tolerate operational lapses by organizations and corporate bodies involved in charitable and humanitarian activities. Meanwhile, the Nigerian police force has expressed deep concern over the uncoordinated distribution of palliatives and relief items across the country, especially during this festive period. Force Public Relations Officer Olumuyiwa Adejobi, at a press briefing in Abuja, says the concern is coming in the wake of tragic incidents in Oyo, FCT, and Anambra states, where stampedes took place during aid distributions and public events claimed several lives, leaving many others injured.
The IGP emphasized the dangers posed to public safety. These unorganized distributions and funfair set up by groups, individuals, and non-governmental organizations, including the potential for stampedes and other incidents that could endanger lives. The lack of a well-defined plan for distributing palliatives has resulted in chaos, leading to long lines and unnecessary confrontations among citizens seeking assistance.
Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has called on government officials, community leaders and NGOs to collaborate in creating a comprehensive framework for distribution of palliatives to prevent further loss of life. The IGP also emphasized the need for security agencies to be involved in managing such events to ensure public safety. The IGP further assures that the force remains committed to supporting efforts that promote a safer and more organized environment for aid distribution, assuring the public of thorough investigations into these tragic incidents. A report by the United Nations released on Friday indicates that the World Food Programme says millions of people are currently facing extreme levels of hunger in West and Central Africa. Kolo Mohammed reports that this is attributed to numerous factors.
The report premised the reasons on conflict, displacement, economic instability amid severe climate shocks, all combining to drive food insecurity. The ongoing conflict in the Sahel, as well as the Sudanese civil war, have forcibly displaced over 10 million people across the region. Massive flooding in Nigeria and Chad earlier this year made the situation acute. Little Halima lost her mother a few months ago. Her aunt took her in to cater for her, even though the caregiver has other kids to cater for. She said whenever they get food, she serves the kids first, and when nothing is available, the kids wail and cry ceaselessly after suckling her nipple and fingers. The World Food Programme says next year, food insecurity will touch nearly 1 in 10 persons in West and Central Africa, which the World Bank estimates is home to over 500 million people. In other news, United Nations Security Council has voted to extend the mandate for another 1 year of a long-running UN peacekeeping mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo. This further delays an agreed withdrawal from the eastern provinces. The Congolese government has previously pushed for the force known as MONUSCO to leave, but a note to the Security Council by Congo's mission in the United Nations in New York shows that Kinshasa asked for the operation to be renewed. The renewal means nearly 11,000 peacekeepers will continue their deployment until December 2025. Kolo Muhammad, NTA News.
Environmentalists say Africa has faced a year of extreme weather events as droughts have worsened, followed by torrential rains and flooding. Kolo Mohammed again tells us more.
Despite contributing the least to global greenhouse gas emissions, the African continent remains highly vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. At COP29, developed countries, the world's largest emitters of greenhouse gases, made a new commitment by signing an agreement to ramp up climate action. However, their promises fell short of the needs outlined by African nations. The situation has been further exacerbated by El Nino, which has intensified the effects of climate change. Reports say tropical cyclones have become more frequent and further severe. In January, Hurricane Belial struck Mauritius, leaving thousands without power. In March, Cyclone Gamani ravaged Madagascar, affecting 5,000 homes and forcing 20,000 plus to flee. In May, Hurricane Hidaya devastated coastal regions of Kenya and Tanzania, underscoring the vulnerability of East Africa to these increasingly violent storms. Cyclones are often preceded by heavy rains, leading to flooding and landslides. In 2024, Kenya and the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, saw devastating downpours. These, especially in DRC, where conflicts are rampant in the east, torrents of rain destroyed roads and homes. According to a global climate change service provider, Nigeria, Niger, Chad, and Cameroon had a devastating year in terms of global temperature trends. A report published on 9 December reveals an average temperature abnormally of plus 0.14 degrees compared to the same period in 2023. Kola Muhammad, NTA News.
And following the Central Bank of Nigeria CBN report, which indicates an increase from $336.61 million in September 2024 to $402.38 million in October 2024 in remittance by the Diaspora, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu and Chairman Nigerians in Diaspora Commission NTAi Abike have expressed their delight at the exploit of Nigerians in Diaspora who are excelling in various endeavors. The duo stated this at the Diaspora Farside Chart 2024 in collaboration with Nigerians in Diaspora Commission NTAi's Home Strings program in Lagos. Sanwo-Olu, who was a special guest of honor, was represented by his Deputy Governor Dr. Olufemi Hamzat, implored Nigerians in the diaspora to cherish the country and its culture in order to preserve their identity. NTAi boss Abike Arewa, on her path, advised Nigerians in the diaspora to continue to contribute to the nation's socio-economic development, as many are already doing. She praised the remarkable growth in Nigeria's diaspora remittances, which rose by 61.1% in 1 year from January to October 2024 to Nigerians in diaspora who are investing in the country, as amplified during the recent Nigerian Diaspora Investment Summit. She emphasized that NTAi will continue to be a good bridge between Nigerians in the diaspora and Nigeria, adding that the growing trust among Nigerians in the diaspora underscores their continued commitment to contributing to national development. The first Connected Diaspora event is a networking gathering that brings together a younger generation of Nigerians living abroad, hosted by NTAi's Home Strings program in partnership with Connected Diaspora, led by C.G. Abere and Nosa Okunsebo. It was a mixed feeling for prospective railway travelers in Itakpe and worry at the commencement of the federal government's free train services across the country. Solomon Ayede, who was at the Itakpe railway station in Kogi for assessment of the commencement of the service, reports that the rail facility along the corridor is overstretched.
More than 1,000 prospective travelers from within and outside the state converged on Itakpe rail station in Kogi State as the window of free rail services opened by the federal government during the Yuletide commences across the country. However, excitement gave way to anxiety as passengers waited extra hours for the train, which originated from Uzevu station in Warri, covering 320-kilometer journey, finally arrived in Itakpe.
We had the train overloaded, so they should bring train that will accommodate everybody, and at the same time bring in staff to control the crowd.
The management of Itakpe Warri rail service seemed to have gotten more than it bargained, as the 584 passenger capacity train was overstretched, causing slight delays in its services both in Warri and Itakpe ends.
There is need for additional coaches. As I speak to you, we are having 7 coaches on this train, and that 7 coaches, each coach can carry 88 passengers. So you can imagine that we have about 700 passengers that is going to have a seat. But the crowd that you are seeing here is more than 1,000.
Some of the passengers, however, applauded the federal government for the initiative, cautioning the management of the Nigerian Railway Corporation to make its server more friendly to ease the stress of online booking.
Nobody here has a ticket. Only few they were successful got their ticket to this place.
Coming from Abuja down here, the transportation is so high that people cannot even afford it. Talk less of entering this train, and it's free. We are very happy.
I would appreciate if the federal government can actually work on the rails and extend the departure lines from Abuja down to Itakpe.
On the other side, it was business as usual for commercial vehicle operators and food vendors at Itakpe rail station.
Food don't finish, sharp. Free train.
Yes.
It's good, well for us. We thank God. We thank Tinubu too.
After its first operation, it is hopeful that the anomalies will be quickly resolved to enable Nigerians enjoy this dividend of democracy provided by the federal government. In Itakwe, Kogi State, Solomon Ayedehi, NTA News.
The ongoing Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road is one of the 4 legacy projects of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that places the interest of the country above any personal interests. Minister of Works, Senator David Umahi, disclosed this while on an inspection of the coastal road with other top officials of the ministry. Bolaji Akim completes the story.
The Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road is aimed at connecting Nigeria's southern coastal line, stretching 700 kilometers. While inspecting the project, Minister of Works, Senator David Umahi, expressed satisfaction with the commitment and professionalism displayed by the contractor handling the project. He said, contrary to speculations, the permanent structure of landmark property was not affected by the road. At the Diaspora land, Senator Umahi took time to explain the reason behind the rerouting of kilometer 13 and 16 in Okunwaja axis.
Where you have the True Africa cables, you also have the MTN cables, and they are coming from the ocean. And people that can cancel with her knowledge. We did meetings with MTN, True Africa for more than 1 month. We did meetings with them. We x-rayed the route and they x-rayed their cables, and we saw the infringement, that we would cause going by the coastline. Was there any initial fear here? No. Should we have gone to destroy people's properties even if they were empty, if there were no MTN cable and True Africa? The answer is no.
Despite being confronted with unexpected challenges, the contractor is poised to ensure that the project meets international standards.
We have to alternate our operation in the concrete aspect in order to keep the concrete to gain its strength. This is why we are allowing at least 3 weeks of no movement on the concrete for us to continue our operations.
With the current pace of work on the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road, the minister said the first section of the road, along with other projects across the country, will be ready for commissioning by May next year. In Lagos, Bolaji Akim, NTA News.
Let's take a breather now. More reports coming shortly. Thanks for joining us again. A group of youths from the oil, gas and pipeline impacted states in Nigeria has lauded President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for strengthening security apparatus in the oil-producing regions against illegal oil bunkering and pipeline vandalism. This effort, they say, has reduced crime rate, which has led to years of environmental pollution, particularly in the Ogoni land. Charles Alpha reports.
Illegal oil bunkering and pipeline vandalism in the oil-producing states, particularly in the Niger Delta, have led to years of spillage which has affected lives and livelihoods. But this group, the host communities producing oil, gas and pipeline impacted states Youth Council of Nigeria, believes they are destined to change the narrative by complementing the present administration efforts in not only the clearing of polluted regions, but support security outfits on ground to arrest all illegal activities going on in the regions.
The leadership of the host communities producing oil, gas and pipeline Party State Youth Council of Nigeria deem it fit and necessary to thank President Bola Ahmed Tinubu DCFRO for awarding the Tanzania Security Pipeline Supply contract to secure the nation's oil and gas assets.
The group said following the president's support, 702 illegal oil connecting points have been discovered, dealt with 971 cases of theft, discovered and destroyed 1,784 illegal refineries, among others.
We hereby throw our full weight in support of the management of Tanzania Security so as to continue the laudable good work they are doing, the betterment of the oil producing communities in the Niger Delta region and Nigeria at large.
The group advocates for the proper implementation of the 3% Petroleum Industry Act as regards to the Host Communities Development Trust Fund. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Following the report released by the National Bureau of Statistics that Nigerians paid 2.2 million naira in ransom between May 2023 and April 2024. Civil society organizations say communities need to strengthen security surveillance to offer credible intelligence to security agencies for prompt response. At a strategic meeting which focuses on the implementation of the PF-NAV framework in Nigeria, key actors in security affairs emphasized that community leaders must be sincere in handling cases of kidnapping, banditry, and other forms of violent extremism.
Have further enhanced the skills of law enforcement, community leaders, and other critical stakeholders. Despite this progress, however, challenges persist, such as resource constraints, socio-economic inequalities, and the use of digital platforms by extremist groups.
Working with the instruments of government, supported by the Office of National Security Advisor, means that we are putting a strategic partnership to end violence extremism.
And because it is viewed as a security challenge, then hence even the phrases we use, war on terror. These governance challenges are made even more pronounced by the fact that our communities are essentially ungoverned spaces.
They recommend support for local associations by the government to play complementary roles in fighting crimes and urge communities to desist from negotiating with criminal elements. The Office of the Chief of Defense Staff, in collaboration with the Center for Ethical Conduct Orientation and Empowerment, rolled out a humanitarian initiative themed Operation Care and Kindness. The program, which held at the Durumi IDP camp in Abuja, provided youth-tied welfare and humanitarian relief packages to some of the internally displaced persons. The initiative is aimed at strengthening civil-military relations by fostering trust and collaboration between the armed forces and the civilian population, and seeks to highlight the compassionate leadership of the Chief of Defense Staff while expanding the military's role in community empowerment and humanitarian efforts.
Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa has, out of his goodwill and generosity, kindness to humanity, further shown leadership beyond safeguarding the nation and also being concerned about the welfare and how the people is being catered for.
As I see all those kind food stop here, you can see all the women, they are starting amazing because they get something that they are going to cook in December. Last night, my grandchildren, they tell me, Grandma, I didn't see anything. No. How about the Christmas? I think God will provide. I think God touch our people that came here today, answer our prayer, so we are going to enjoy the Christmas.
8 states in Nigeria have indicated interest, with 30% counterpart fund to key into federal government's newly launched interventions to increase access to electricity in rural communities. Executive Director, Rural Electrification Fund, Doris Bo, said the interventions will upscale solar energy connections and boost rural economy. Joshua Ojito reports.
The initiative eHeart, which is to energize healthcare centers, educational facilities, agriculture, rural communities and the transportation sector, as well as the distributed access through renewable energy scale-up, does receive the support of state governments.
Our expected outcome is to create an alignment between the different parties that are required to play a critical role in addressing the electricity access gap in the country.
8 states are ready with a 30% counterpart fund, as federal government is to provide 60% funding for the projects.
Kaduna State ready to receive our co-funding. People like Plateau State Governor Katsina, Cross River, Lagos State. So the list is unending, and we're encouraging those who have not started to emulate those who are already in the game, so that this can be an all-encompassing solution for every state. We're bringing mixed grill solution to the energy space.
The counterpart funding that is required from the state, I believe that the governors should do well to attend. Already we have a counterpart funding for 10,000 solar for 10,000 homes. Particular State is having it so good with real.
It's the right time now for the transition to renewable energy.
More than 17 million Nigerians are expected to be connected with solar mini-grids under the two programs. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Next is Sunday's weather forecast for Nigeria and other cities of the world. That's the news. Thanks for your company. I am Mina Daniels.